most of the time, you get when you see protests of xenophobic attacks, you get fighters wearing berets and all that. So we need to come down in branches and educate our brothers and sisters and members of the EFF that the self-hate won't help us with anything. Because most of the time, our the radio station, you get a person says, I'm a member of the EFF, but I don't agree. I think the foreigners must go and all that. So I think we must develop a policy amongst ourselves as leaders. If we get a leader of the EFF speaking against the program of the EFF or the agenda of the EFF on an African perspective, that person must be disciplined, because we can't have a situation where we have leaders of the EFF who are speaking against the policy of the EFF on the African perspective. Thank you.
Very important.
Thank you very much, comrades. The comrade who spoke from Eastern Cape, he's got a problem with an EFF stand on borders. And he doesn't have the necessary courage to say so. And this is the platform where you must speak openly so that we can educate each other. It will be politically naive for you to say you want to decolonize society, at the same time say you want the borders. It's the extreme contradiction, because the borders were imposed by colonizers. There were never borders in Africa. So the struggle to decolonize the continent in the immediate will mean we must do away with the borders. So don't be emotional about being unemployed and then you see foreigners working and you think these are the people who took your jobs. And then you want to, in the immediate, start fighting with them because white people tell you these are the people who took your jobs. There's no one who took anyone's job. And by the way, if we leaders are going to say the borders must remain, we are going to be overtaken by our people. Because our people have opened borders already. The people of Lesotho drink mqombothi in Free State and then cross back to Lesotho without passport, nothing. Ba jola kamu, ba yorobala kamu. And then when you still come and say, no, you want the border. The same thing in Mpumalanga. The Swaziland people and Mpumalanga people don't see each other as people coming from different countries. So what type of leadership are we going to be when we are behind and are led by our people? Our people are already leading us. Our people in Venda and in Zimbabwe are already actually one thing. If you want to actually see there is no difference between us and other African brothers and sisters, medicine in Venda is mushonga. And in Shona is mushonga. Ululating in Venda is mifururu. In Shona is mifururu. And then you come here, these are Zimbabweans. But you speak the same language with the same people. So, because white people told you, the way you worship your white masters, they told you that these are not your people. You are actually better than these people. But better how? Because you are both black, pitch black. The Zimbabweans and vendors, the vendors are here. The vendors and the Zimbabweans, pitch black, and then you come here and say, no, we're not the same. And then from being pitch black, you even speak the same language. You just tempt it differently. The other one says it's Shona, the other one says is Venda. The day we open borders, the story of one language becomes easy. Because the Shonas and the Vendas, when they try to communicate, they are going to realize that they are not far from each other. So it's dialects that are different. It's not actually the language. So comrades, we have to go and defend the story of a borderless continent, because Europe is like that. What they call it, Shanghai visa. If you get a Shanghai visa, you can go anywhere in Europe. When we want to do the same thing they are doing in Europe, they say, no, they're going to take your jobs. There's no black African brother who must do jobs for us. We must do jobs for ourselves and empower one another. If Somalian people are flourishing in townships with shops, they must share the tips. How do they do it? How can we join one another and protect each other to grow as black people, as Africans? If that's what you are saying, then we are agreeing. So we ought to agree. We must not see them as a threat. A threat is white monopoly capital, which must be crushed, and the shops must be given to all Africans, irrespective of where they come from. An African brother and sister who's succeeding is not an enemy, especially in South Africa, especially in the continent, especially in the diaspora. We are one thing. We are all victims of the same enemy agents. They hate us because of the color of our skin. And it is important that we now unite as one and not put more emphasis on fence, imaginary borders. They just put a fence here like this. And then we see each other through fence. There's not even a wall. And we hate each other so much because of a fence. It starts here. It might not be popular because the enemy controls the mind of our people. And our struggle for political education is to liberate the mind of our people, that Africans are not our enemies. The enemy is the one who came to put a border in between us. Let us remove the border and confront the enemy as one.